Hi, welcome to iHeart VT. Today we have toys and games for eyes and brains. And usually I play the moderator role, but today I'm gonna jump in here with Dr. Slotnick and participate and sort of bring a parent perspective to the toys and games discussion here. So I'm gonna stop sharing that intro screen so we can go ahead and get started.
So I was delighted to have Colin reach out to me and say, "'Tis the season." And as a parent, I'm always looking for great ideas to expand my child's horizons when the holidays come around. And I know that there's lots of people who are in the same boat, who are looking for ideas out there. And, the truth is that in therapy, we use games all the time because play is a way for learning. And there are some games that we do here that parents want to take them home or get their own and work with them at home. And some lend themselves better than others, and some are more fun and less therapy-like than others. So I put together a list of games that has also the manufacturers, so you can find them on your own. And I believe Colin is sharing that. And this is a different reference than how I would use them in vision therapy, but just as a set of categories to look for what might you pull out or reach for in different scenarios. So I've listed across the top when you get your handout. Some of the categories are things that are independent play and puzzles that you can leave a child to play with and explore on their own for a period of time. Some are more of a speed and competition, who could do this faster, and something that could be played rather quickly as well, because maybe you don't have enough time, but we can get in a quick round of Spot It, for example. I've listed family fun for things that you could do as a collaborative thing rather than just as a head-to-head thing. I've listed pattern recognition that looks at some of the different ways that we make connections visually and in other ways. I've listed coordination and visual motor development because many of our patients are looking at ways to learn to use their eyes to guide their hands, and that those are available in some of these games. I've labeled some as fast and simple because they don't take very long, and others for longer play per sitting, where you definitely want to look at these when you've got a few hours, and you definitely don't want to start them when you are confined to only about 15 minutes, maybe something that would take at least 30 minutes to plan to develop and explore. So just so that you have a quick label to help you sort out for yourselves, how might you use some of these and what might you pull on as an option in your own home collection. Most of these I have in our VT room. There are a couple that I've added that I don't have. In fact, I think, to be honest, it's only one at this point that I don't have that Colin just brought to my attention. But otherwise, I'm familiar with all of these. And some of them, there's a category like the Goldie Blocks books and games. They were designed to give some learning opportunities that are, first of all, fashioned for a young female child who might really be into the building and constructing, which is usually labeled and sold in ways that attract young boys. So this is doing that for young girls. It actually comes with reading material as well. So to take something that's on the page and manifest it into a real thing is also a really nice way to work with it. There's a series of those. So other than that, I have familiarity with all of these. So what we thought would be a good idea would be to demonstrate a couple of the games. So I've got some set up in the other room. And also some of the activities, which I'll leave for Colin to talk about, because she's got her top favorites. Do you want to do that intro now, or do you want to do that after one game?
No, why don't you go ahead and start your Dr. Eureka, and then I'll...
Okay, and I am going to the other space, and I will see you in a moment. Okay. I think, can y'all hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, great. So let me put this over here. And this little game here is called Dr. Eureka. And this is a wonderful visual motor integration activity. The way it's designed is there's a set of cards, and you don't have to go through all of them. You could just say, let's see who claims the most cards out of 5, for example. The cards look like this. They're little, let's say, flasks or test tubes. Everybody gets at the beginning 2 green, 2 purple, and 2 red balls in their test tubes. And each of the cards is some combination and reorganization of those test tubes. And so what you want to do is be the first one to, if you're playing head-to-head competition, or you could, there's actually enough for 4 people to compete, to be able to make that image in and then claim the card. And you have to not only make those 3, but put them in the correct order. And I just wanted to show you that in order to make this, that there's more than one way to get there, of course. So if you're trying to go fast, sometimes it pays to actually slow down and look. So the red are going to need to be separated. And if I put the red on top of the purple, you can see that I'm already burying another purple here. So that's not necessarily the best way to go. I could take this red, though, and put it here and flip it upside down to make this one. And I could take that red and purple, and you can see going right to left and left to right is not equal for me, but tipping the test tubes over. Now this says purple should be on the bottom, so I can also flip that upside down and put that one here. And I've also made that in a couple of moves. So that's just a little example of Dr. Eureka, where you can play with this. And then I would say, if I got the card, that's my card. I keep it in my pile. And now from this new place, you're going to try to make this new card. So taking a careful look, and it's funny because I'm thinking about it upside down as I have it displayed for you. But taking a careful look, I still need to separate out, and basically this one I already have, and I need to get a purple and red together. Oops, that was a mistake. So I need a green and I need a purple. I'm going to go this way. And then put the red and the green back over here. Now I have the red and the green, the red and the purple, and the purple and the green. So yes, I'll take a question on this if you had one, Vicki, if you wanted to throw that out while I'm still here. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to Colin.
Just a quick one. I didn't see you touch the balls at all with your fingers, so I take it that it's against the rules.
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be against the rules.
Okay.
But if you've got a kid who's easily frustrated, this is not an easy game. So it's labeled as ages, I think that's an 8, but it looks like an S and up. So, yeah, 8 and up. But I play this with kids as young as around 6. I think it gets some visual motor integration skills. It gets at visual motor planning skills. There is an opportunity to do it slowly and just do one card and support some eye-hand coordination and learning how to manage frustration as well, because it's not that easy to spill things from one to the next and control it. And yes, they may end up across the room as they make a mistake, but then they get the opportunity to feel better about reinforcing themselves when they are able to go more slowly. So, it's a great way to build control. And I think especially if you're looking for fun and short play, it doesn't take so long to set it up, and it doesn't take so long to do a couple of cards, and you don't have to do it for a very long time.
Good.
Any other questions, or I go back to you, Colin?
I don't see any.
Okay. So I'll put this aside and I will come over and meet you in the other room. Go ahead.
All right. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So I'm bringing a little bit different perspective today to the activities. And all of these are more from a parent side of things, but there will be ways that you could use these in a therapy program in the office, or maybe just as recommendations as parents ask you, how could I reinforce some of these things or supplement at home with items that I'm purchasing for my children. So that's the tack I'm going to take. The first product that I'm going to highlight is the Yodo player. I do have the URLs up in the right-hand corner. I know we have an international audience. It is available in multiple markets. So one of the big things, obviously, that we are all probably promoting in the therapy room is less screen time for children. And I know that's really hard as an adult, especially with young ones. Like, if I'm not giving them a tablet, what am I giving them, or what am I doing? Especially when peer pressure becomes an element and other parents' kids have tablets and these things. So the Yodo player is something that I came across. I have a 5-year-old daughter that is screen-free, that I really, really love. My daughter has never used a tablet. We don't have tablets. She doesn't use my phone, things like that. It gave her something that she could manipulate herself. So it's very easy to use, well-designed, simplistic. It allows her to engage and make decisions about what content she is listening to. So it's a Wi-Fi audio speaker. And you have these cards that you can put in, and it's an audiobook. Like when I was a child, we had audio tapes or even audio records that we followed along with a book. So you can do any MP4 audio files on these. They come with books, and stories, but you could load up a podcast. You could load a grandparent recording a special message to a child. You can do your own playlists. So it's very, very versatile. You can do a lot of content. It also has a night light feature. You can program what time the light turns. So maybe the child knows, oh, it's time that I can come out of my room in the morning or something like that. You can do white noise or pink noise. You also can do noises like they'll do like a pirate ship one. And so it's promoting like creative play. And when I first discovered Yodo, my daughter and I, we read together every night, and we have since birth. I think that's an important thing to do together. And I didn't want this to replace that activity. So that was my only kind of like, oh, will she like this so much that she doesn't want to engage with like the books and the story time that we do? That was not a problem. We have done it both ways, where she's discovered stories like at the library. Treasure Island was one of her favorites this summer. And she then was, oh, mom, like I want to get the audio card. So she has it on Yodo, she listens to, and oh, mom, I want to get the book at the library. And oh, mom, play the pirate noises. And then she pretends she's a pirate. So I love it. I think it's a really fun, easy thing for kids. And I like that it has an independent nature to it. Like she can control it. She can take control of her activity, and it's not me guiding it. Like with a phone or an iPad, like, that's mine. And so I'm gonna, unless there are questions, I'm gonna pass it to Samantha next.
I was gonna just suggest, do you want to touch on your list now, or do you want to touch on the list at the end of the mindful activities?
I mean, I'm gonna go through each one, so, and I've shared it, so.
Okay, I will meet you over in the other room.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can make this a whole screen. There we go. Okay. So, who's up for a game of tic-tac-toe? Kalin,
All right.
would you be willing to play me in tic-tac-toe?
Absolutely.
Okay. This is a slightly different version of tic-tac-toe. This is called Goblet Gobblers. The rules of tic-tac-toe still apply. It's the same idea that you need 3 in a row to win. There are a couple of alternative options here that that you don't have in regular tic-tac-toe. So in tic-tac-toe, you need 3 in a row. In Goblet Gobblers, you need 3 in a row. But when you make your moves, you have a couple of options. One is, let's say if it's your choice to go, you can pick any one of your sizes on your turn. If it's your opponent's turn, they have the same option. They can pick a piece from their side, certainly to start with. And they can also not only take a new space, they can also cover your piece. So now you see it and now you don't. You don't have the, let's say in that case, it would be the middle right square on this board. And the other thing that you could do is, let's say I'm running along with that and you want to be in a new place with your piece, you can pick up your piece and move it. Of course, if you are covering a piece and you move it, then my under piece would be revealed as well. So a little visual memory applies there as well. I have played this game with grown-ups for fun at least I don't want to say at least, at 15 minutes before somebody lost, with like an ongoing game of cat and mouse, really, that is a just keep trying to find a way out or an alternative way to not lose at tic-tac-toe. So I think what's interesting about this is you can do a little strategy, but you really have to be present and see what your options are and think on your feet. And so some of the regular tic-tac-toe strategies don't necessarily buffer you because the board can change pretty quickly. So Kalin, which piece do you want to be? Which color, orange or blue?
Oh, I'll be orange.
And I'm going to set up the framework. I'm going to go first as blue and say, I am going to put my large blue piece in the middle, because I'm bossy like that. And Kalin, which piece do you want to put and which location? So we have the top, middle, and bottom, and we have the left, middle, and right. So
I'll take a large orange in the bottom right corner.
excellent. Did I get that correct?
Yes.
Good, because I'm upside down and thinking backwards at the same time. And now I'm going to take my large blue piece and I'm going to place it in the top right. What's your move, Kalin?
I'm going to do a medium orange in the lower left corner, please.
That is a good move. Okay. And I would normally, in regular tic-tac-toe, I would look to block you here, but I have 2 options. And I'm going to go ahead and exercise one of them. I'm going to take my large blue piece that's in the top right corner, and I'm going to cover your medium orange piece in the bottom left.
Wow.
Now what?
Okay, I'm going to do a medium orange right next to my big orange, just above my big orange. So middle row.
Middle right?
Yeah, above my existing orange guy.
The
Yeah.
middle right. Ooh, that is interesting. I'm going to beat you with a tiny piece just to humiliate you.
Oh, geez.
That's not right. So, and to be fair, playing online and with a virtual camera and angle is not quite as easy to see that these were set up for 3 in a row. But
I wasn't sure people wanted to watch for 15 minutes.
you're so clever, Kalin. All right, thank you for playing me. And since I beat you, I'm going to let you go first on the next time we play when I see you in person.
Okay.
I'm going to go meet you in the other room real quick.
Excellent.
Okay. More. And
Okay, I'll just intro this quickly while Samantha's getting us set up in the other room. The next product game that I want to talk about is called We See, clever little name. And again, I've put both of the shops. A lot of these you can find on Amazon as well, in your region. So We See is a great little game I discovered about a year ago and bought multiple copies as gifts. And I actually recommended it to Samantha. And it's funny because we had very different experiences with the game. One reason is because there are many different ways that you can play this game. The instruction booklet that comes with the game has maybe 7 or 8 different variations, but you can also just get creative on your own.
there's so many variations.
Yeah, this is one that I could see using in the therapy room or just suggesting it. Also for adult patients, if you're seeing adult patients, it definitely carries over into that age group very well. Sometimes even better into the older age groups, just because some of the images, and you'll see examples, it's like, what the heck are we looking at here? And I've seen with my own daughter, there's just things that she's just not familiar. So you can't really maybe get as creative, but it doesn't mean it's not useful and not enjoyable. A few of the things that We See hits upon. So the basis of it is making visual connections. So you have all of these different cards, very well done, photographic, elements. So you're making connections, seeing patterns, looking at shapes, colors. You get some of your visual discrimination, figure ground stuff going as well. But you're working on language skills and describing what it is you're seeing, making arguments for the connections that maybe you're seeing there. You'll see Samantha and I will run through a few, and we'll play some of that out for you. The makers of the game, they call out the mindfulness and empathy elements of the game. One of them is picking an image each day, and like how can that image kind of play into your daily life, and can you maybe become more observant of the world around you and the elements within it and start seeing pieces of your world differently. Empathy, again, like, can you see what your opponent, let's say, sees in their card? If they're arguing to you that this card is a picture of a spider, are you willing to go with that and say, yeah, I could see that you're seeing that as a spider? And are you willing to accept that there's multiple ways to see things and you can see multiple things in an image? Critical and abstract thinking, there are some very literal images. In this picture I have up on the screen, you see like a baby's foot, for example. The image next to it is maybe not as literal, but that could be foot-like, right? So are you willing to be playful in those ways? It is a cooperative play game. You can play it with multiple players. Like I said, this spans age groups and there's many play options. So Samantha and I are going to kind of show you some of the pictures, some of the ways you can play. The one way that I'm going to highlight is sort of a dominoes style. So somebody will lead with a card. Samantha, if you want to maybe lead with one of yours.
Can you pin the?
Yeah, let me pin
Yes.
it.
And I just want to give a quick look at the cards that we've put out here. So suggesting that Colin's cards are this one here. I'm going to see if I can move the camera to do this, but that's a no, it's tied there. So 1 second, make sure we've got enough of that here. So there's this thing. And some of these, just like as a to point out, if we rotate it, we may not be sure what it is that we're looking at. This is a little bit grainy right now because I dimmed the light for the screen. Let me just see if this helps at all.
Yeah.
For just the moment to see this. So this is an example of sort of an extreme close-up picture of something, and maybe you can recognize it and maybe you're not sure. There's a couple of things here on Colin's side. And sometimes when you see a card, you're not sure of what orientation it should be in even. So this might make what it is more clear, but this not so much. And this and this one. So that's Colin's hand. And my hand is this thing. And this thing. And this thing. And this thing. And this. And this. So I'm going to just, like you said, dominoes effect, I'm going to just put a card down on the table, and I'm going to flip the light here so we can see all the cards. And Colin, what would you like to put next to that card from your set?
So I'm gonna go ahead and take the blown up glove there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that my connection is the hand connection there. They're both representations of hands.
Okay. I can see that for sure. I'll give that to you. And so I need to make a connection with something you've already made a connection with. And I am just going to pick up this bowl of confetti and say that I see some of the same shades of, that this would fit in the bowl of confetti because they both have the similar shades of blue within it. Can you accept that?
Okay, we'll allow that. And this is, you can have multiple players, and when we played as a family, it was like, oh, like, come on, make a better argument. Convince me that that's a connection. You can make it.
We have only 6 cards laid out, and so the idea also could be if I don't think I have one that makes a connection, I could maybe draw a new card, or after I go, maybe I draw a replacement card. But we just pulled a few that we thought we might be able to argue a few connections amongst themselves, but not so much between them. So, so go ahead, Colin.
So I'm going to pick that broken umbrella, and I'm gonna put it above the hand card. But I'm gonna say, because you could find both of those things in the street.
Ooh, I really like that. And I am going to see your street and raise you a street. I'm going to put this piece of the street with lots of shadows, and I'm going to go ahead and put it above that and just move this out of the way.
Okay, and I'm going to play the guitar strings next to your street lines. For kind of that, exactly, the same perspective lines type of thing.
Yeah,
leading into the
parallel lines that are actually shown non-parallel.
Yeah.
You want this on the left or the right?
Yeah, over that way. Give us some room. Other side.
This side. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, I want to take one of yours, but you've already. I'm going to take one of yours because it's more fun.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
I want to take this one because I like that I see whatever this little ring thing is, it's casting a shadow. And this person one is casting a shadow. Good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I took one of yours. All of them are up for grabs. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna play those bread pieces, the baguette pieces next to that because that's also letter B-ish to me. If you
Okay.
will allow me.
All right, I see this as it could be a letter B. Certainly, if I flip it, that looks even more like a B. And this looks like a B, a similar orientation. And since you're going there, I'm gonna take these wheels that are pairs of Bs and say, what do you think? Can you allow this as also emblematic of a letter B?
I don't know. What do you think, crowd? Should we allow that? I don't know. It's pushing it. Okay, I'll let
It's a
it.
stretch.
It's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, but I don't have many cards left, so we're gonna allow the stretch just because we're in the spirit of kindness and generosity. All right, you have anything left?
I want those colorful bowls to play next to the confetti.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
a bunch of colorful things next to a bunch of colorful things. And I'm gonna take this cracked painting and put it next to this broken umbrella because they're both broken. What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
that in order to do that, it has to also connect to the other adjacent pieces.
in that
You can make an argument that it
I'm
also
gonna put it
connects.
on this side then because I see fragments and overtones of the painting and the guitar can make overtones.
So you can get kind of creative, and when Samantha and I were discussing this, I was like, you know, if you had a bell and I'm gonna play a shell, it's like, yeah, visually they aren't similar at all. But I'm gonna make the argument, right? And it's like, well, let's talk about that. Are we gonna allow that? And building some flexibility, and there's no wrong answer per se. It's like, can you describe to me these connections that you're finding? You know, and can you start to see more creative connections and use your language to express those? So
Lovely. What do you want to do with this piece?
oh, I forgot this is our spider, the lampshade. What the heck? I mean,
Yeah.
I think that plays nicely off of the broken pieces flower thing.
Okay, because why?
I think it's again, it's fragmented. It's showing fragmented space in a ununiform way.
Yeah, so you've got a whole that's been fragmented into parts with some lines in both
Yeah.
cases. Well described. I didn't see that before, but now I do. This game would have been a lot more fun for my family if you were there, Colin. But when I took this out last holiday season, it was attempted and then told to be put away and not to be played again. So basically, my father said, this is therapy and it's not fun. And so you could do this with me during therapy, but not on the holiday. So that's what happened to Weezy in our household. And I think that we probably could have set it up better, but you know, live and learn. Any
How
questions?
many cards in a set?
Go ahead, Greg.
How many cards come in the set?
Oh my goodness.
210 connecting photo cards.
This is the box. I'll just add that like the booklet shows a layout of a grid. And we did something like this. We made grids of maybe 16 cards or 25 cards. And then whoever was going, we just had a random grid of cards and said, I'm going to look for maybe 4 or 5 cards that fit a theme. And I'm going to name the theme. And I'm going to tag the ones that I think best uphold that theme. And then you get to try to guess which places I've picked out for being cards that fit the theme. So it was sort of this is what I see. What do you see? Or can you see what I see? And I think that played into more of a right and wrong and less into flexibility and exploration. And I think that's probably why it was less successful. But I have not opened all of the sets of cards because there are so many. we've got this entire other stack here, plus these here. So we just never even went into the realm of losing all of those extra cards. Any other questions on this before I go to the other table? Or suggest?
Vicky said she's already ordered it for her. for her niece.
I'm waiting for it. I hope it gets here in time.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, we still have a couple of weeks.
Then I got to ship it all the way to Washington State
Are you ordering it to your house or directly to them?
to my house.
Oh, okay.
You know, with the creative descriptions, you only need about 25 cards.
Yeah, well, the catch is, you know, we're a group of people who are apt to see the world in a creative and exploratory way, and so we found ourselves in this profession. But to facilitate that for others is part of our job. And I think for many of our patients, especially those with rigid mindsets, seeing things concretely, it's very difficult to make that stretch or that leap and allow that some of these connections are really there. And I do think that that's where seeing others' perspectives is very valuable, especially with kids on the spectrum, kids who can be very stubborn. That's a common trait in strabismus. It's this way, not that way. And so, you know, can you allow more possibilities in what you see? And that's why I think that this is working on the substrate of the mind to help people have the capacity for more soft looking. So, you know, I think that there's a good place for it. And I think it's also difficult to have the right timing to do that in a therapy session. So unless you're going to plan that that's your primary thing to do for a session, it's probably better situated with a family to explore at home, especially if there's at least one person who can represent that facilitation. So, you know, it's not an easy win, but it has so much potential that, you know, it's worth exploring. Okay, I'm going to go to the other room, so I've got to disconnect sound a moment.
All right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good. This game is called Clack, and I've laid it out in these are all the pieces of Clack. Clack is it's kind of an attributes game. Each one of these pieces contains 3 shapes, and there's 6 possible shapes as this die shows. And this is all white. So if you, let's say, roll this die, and it lands on feet, you're going to look for the feet. And then you roll this die for the color. And if it lands on white, any color goes. If this, actually, I lied, it's 5 shapes. If it lands on the blank shape, any shape goes. And these are magnetized, so they make this very satisfying sound. So let's say give me a color. Let's say I rolled for blue feet. So I need to scan and look for blue feet and start stacking them up. And then here, I just laid these out as horizontal rows. So if you are working with a child who needs to learn some scanning skills, you might facilitate that by having them scan across rows. If you are just trying to create an open environment of what do you see, what can you find, then you might just have a mishmash of pieces. So these are the blue feet that I've been able to find, and this is my stack, and they have this, you know, magnetic connection. And if we roll again, now I'm looking for purple feet, and I'll let my left hand be my opponent. And so where do I find purple feet? And that happens too if you're holding it too carefully at the top. So this would be my my opponent's pile. Usually you're playing this as every man for himself. So you're trying as quickly as possible to get the pieces. And like I said, it's an attributes game. So looking for yellow pieces, your ability to recognize that specific thing in that specific color. And if, on the other hand, what I think is challenging is finding, for example, stars of any color. Now you're looking just for shape, and you've got to be a little more flexible in your, let's say, visual filter as you look for stars, because they could show up at different colors and different sizes. So this plays obviously pretty quickly, and it's working on visual attributes and some speed. Kids love it. It's a nice reward at the end of our session, and there's a quick way to see who's winning. So it's an enjoyable, quick and easy game. And also, like I said, laying it out can be very helpful in training tracking and line return skills if you set it up that way. So I've used this also with a patient with a brain injury to help facilitate tracking across lines. And then I'm also not doing it competitively. I'm just letting him roll the dice and look for that, whatever the object is. Questions on this one? Okay, Colin, I'm going back to you in the other room. This is very addictive.
All right. I don't know if you have to go back there.
I don't?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm
The-
not then.
the
I'm gonna
next-
stay here.
The next product in my list that I was sharing, and by the way, if you didn't get the handouts that I posted in the chat and you want them, or for anybody who's in the future watching this as a recording, just email Samantha or I, and we can email you these handouts. The next one in my list was the Love-A-Lotter bead game. So you can actually, the lovealotter.com, the website has many games. So there are other ones on the site that are also interesting if you want to check out that site. But this one in particular, I thought it was a really nice one. It's kind of marketed as sort of your Montessori-esque type of game activity. A very nice wooden, well-made game. You have wooden colorful beads, a wooden tray that the beads fit into. And again, I think this one lends itself to variety of ways to play. There are obviously rules. Sorry, see the chat.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna run over to the other side and post it.
Okay, thanks, Lorelai. Samantha will post those. So you're supposed to load up the entire grid with no colored ball, no same color next to each other, and then no ball in the very middle center divot. And then you move them to make like kind of matches, and then you remove, okay, all those green ones are in a row, so I remove those, and then I make another move, and you're trying to remove beads. And you place them into the color corresponding, the cups that correspond with the color of the bead. Again, like, you don't have to be so strict about the colors. You could use this with younger children just simply as sorting colors. They have various tools that come with it. So they have, you see like a little spoon. They also have almost like chopstick things, but you could just use tiny fingers to work with that fine motor type stuff. This could be definitely cooperative play, but I know children would totally sit here and play with this independently as well. I know my own daughter, like little sorting type activities and things is completely fun and entertaining. Also nice way to introduce like counting concepts and numerical type of things. So counting the beads and laying them out on the grid, that spatial aspect. Just a really nice, well-made game, easy to put maybe just even in the waiting room as an activity to play with in the waiting room, or to recommend, like I said, for parents as a gift idea.
I'm gonna just mention, I wouldn't put it in the waiting room because I wouldn't expect to have the same number of beads after one day. But
And obviously that is a choking hazard for the youngest.
But there's a game that it is like on phones and apps. I think it's called Flood It, FLOOD-IT. But it's a very similar play where if you've got a group of colors together, you select all of the ones that are connected. And the way I saw it being played in the video, you can make one move on the grid, like shifting connected beads over one hole, and then create a new connection of color. And then you select all of the ones that are a common color. So you keep consolidating. And so again, it's a really nice visual game in seeing potential space and moving it. And it's a nice visual motor integration game because there's a lot of different ways to pick up the beads, and then you sort them as you collect them. But you're sorting by color, you're learning to see the color attributes spatially. And I think that it comes with a couple of different ways. Like you could use your fingers, you could use tongs, you could use a little spoon, all of those different ways to play it.
All right.
Questions on that one? The video on the link is really nice. Actually, so after I showed this, let's go back and I'll just, if you can pull up the handout, I think you had it on your PDF screen,
Okay.
and we'll just intro it.
Okay.
So this game is, Colin, I hope your memory is not so good. Mine isn't. This game is called Pengaloo, and it is one of the favorites in our therapy room. I just want to give a shout out to Blue Orange. 3 of these 4 games are Blue Orange games. Clack is the exception, but they make very nice manipulative games. And just for the visual motor of like working the pincer grasp, that was a preview of the color. You know, it has a nice feel, and it's got some sort of a tactile engagement factor that makes kids really want to play it. So this game is kind of like concentration in that you're looking for something in particular, and instead of finding a match or finding a pair, you're rolling these color-coded dice and looking for 2 things. So you get 2 tries, which to me is like the classic concentration. I just want to point out there's probably color variations in each edition of the game, and that the color for red and the color for purple are so similar that I've gone ahead and labeled the one that's supposed to be purple with a P, and I've put a little black asterisk on the one that's supposed to be purple on the eggs. But each of these penguins is sitting on an egg, and the eggs are different colors. The objective of the game is to be the first one to fill your iceberg with 6 penguins. There are 2 players here, but you could play for up to 4 players, in which case it's whoever gets the most at the end, or if there's a tie, whoever went last. And the primary way to play is you roll the dice. And in this case, I rolled for red and orange, and then I get 2 opportunities to look for a colored egg. And so I just selected and found an orange egg. And again, if I'm working on pincer grasp, I'm gonna encourage that for my patient. And since I went first on the first number 1, that's where the orange egg will go. And then let's say I look for a red one and I don't find it, then this just goes and covers back up, and then the play passes to my opponent. And if I got both of them, that would be like a concentration match. You get to go again. So Colin, may I roll for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Oops, double yellows. Well, I set this up in a grid format, but so that it would be easier for you to name things, but you can also kind of randomly mush them around. So tell me top, middle, or bottom, and then first, second, third, or fourth.
Yeah. Top number 1.
Okay. That's a
Wow.
nope.
Okay, bottom number 1.
And that's a no. I hope you remembered those colors. And
No
oops,
pressure.
I'm going to pretend that one of those was orange for purposes of play. So I rolled a green and an orange. And I know I'm not going to find it here, and I'm not going to find it here. And I think I'm not going to find it here. I'm going to pick another one. Okay, I found a green one, and I'm going to put that here. And I'm going to say, I remember that this was orange, and show it again. And that would mean I'd get to roll again. And then roll a red and a purple. And now I could remember this was a purple one. And maybe I look for another red one. I found a red, let's say I didn't find that. Oh, I found a yellow one. Okay, Colleen, it's your turn. See if you can use some memory skills now.
Okay,
Ready?
please roll.
Yellow and purple.
Okay, I would like middle number 2.
Good call.
Yay.
And I'm gonna flip this iceberg around and put it the number 1 over here. And that's this guy. And what about the purple one?
So I can say that I think one of your penguins is purple, right?
Correct.
Okay, the second penguin I think is purple.
Oh, do, 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 do.
Crash.
Good guess. I definitely have a purple penguin, but that's not it. Okay, and then green and orange. And so I know I have a green one, and I know I have an orange one, and I could say, I can't remember any green and orange here. I'm going to just roll again. Oh, double yellows. Okay, so I'm going to look for a new one, and that's not. And I'm going to look for another one, and that's not yellow either. So did you get to see both of those, Colleen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just say that I won unless you really want to go again.
No, we're good.
Okay, well, that's a relief. I'm going to meet you in the other room. Any other questions with this one? Okay. With Goblet Gobblers, I know you let me win. So
Okay, so I'm just looking at the clock and thinking, I don't really know if we have time to show the lava lotter video, and I'm not sure it would add too much.
no,
So-
but I wanted to just mention on the handout. So if you wanted to talk through the other ones briefly or just show the handout, this is part of what we sent to you. So you can see the links are live when you download it. And these are a couple of things that are what we thought are mindful activities that are worth spending a little more time with your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, your patients. Some of these are probably more appropriate for home and maybe as a list of recommendations for the parents in your practice. So feel free to use this with our compliments. And then the 2 pages before that, if you want to just scroll up. So these are all alphabetized by the game name and the manufacturer. And then I've just mentioned these categories of just to help you look for if you've got something in mind, whether you want it to be a fast game or a short game or something that you've got to be more competitive or you've got a race or it's just kind of a collaborative family fun. These are all things that are worth time and build visual skills in a variety of ways. Playing alone versus competition, those are all labeled for you. Some are actually both. Okay, Colleen, why don't you just walk through the last 3 as not on that?
Yeah. Okay, so the first one here are the Little Renegades mindfulness cards. And if you go to the Little Renegades website, they have a few different collections of cards now. And I see these items here specifically as things that could supplement some of the concepts or things you're striving for in a VT program. So just overall trying to develop maybe awareness of one's own body or where they are in space, or having some responsibility for their own actions and agency and things like this. So the Little Renegades mindfulness cards, they've got very cute little designed cards, and this one that's in the picture is the pig belly breaths. I know a number of VT docs who do discuss or incorporate breath work in their programs, for example. So this is a nice way to reinforce that at home and introduce some of those calming mechanisms, maybe for children who have a hard time and get really worked up. Again, body awareness, so trying to call attention to certain parts of your body very cognizantly, like I'm focusing on the way my feet are feeling right now and rooting those into the ground, things like that. Also emotional awareness and what am I feeling during some of these activities. And a lot of them have positive affirmation messages as well. So just trying to get a positive mindset, a positive body, experience, like we're laying the groundwork for things to be successful. The big one
works visualization skills. And I think that helping children learn to make pictures in their minds, it's the same reason that Yoto is so valuable. It fosters creativity. You're creating images.
The Big Life Journal, they have products for a variety of age groups. It's another website you should just go and check out. They have a number of printables, a lot of parenting support resources as well. So I know that a lot of the parents who are coming into your offices, a lot of them are frustrated. A lot of them are dealing maybe with children with behavior, complicated behavior things. And it offers a very nice reinforcement, growth mindset type activities, goal setting, emotional intelligence, positive affirmations, responsibility, independence, across age groups. And then, like I said, that parenting element, ways that you can maybe reframe or talk about some maybe challenges with your children in more positive ways. Lots of really great resources. I know during the holidays, they do huge buy one, get one free sales. And a lot of it's like, okay, what's our strategy for the new year? And I don't mean that in an intimidating, like, okay, kid, we have to set our goals, but I mean in a kind of positive, like, get your kids starting to think like, what am I doing? What am I planning for? How am I taking responsibility for the outcomes in my life, right? I'm in this therapy program. How am I getting something out of this? What am I responsible for? Not just the doctor, the therapist, the parent. The next one on here is the Once Upon a Pancake books. These basically, they provide story prompts. Some of them are sort of that Mad Lib style where you fill in the blank. Other ones are much more open-ended. Again, this could be independent or collaborative. They have them for a variety of age groups. I think that the ability to tell a story or understand the elements of a story are very important. So again, you're getting that visualization element, but again, like that planning, like what comes next, the anticipatory element of things. Okay, your kid's getting ready for school. What comes next in my morning? And giving them that independence. Okay, I brushed my teeth. What comes next? Okay, putting my shoes on, planning. I see this as a way that can be introduced and reinforced. What information is needed to make this a story, to make this interesting? What information is superfluous? You're going to have your wordy kids too. How can we maybe turn some of the literal stuff into creative or playful or mysterious, storytelling? So I think it's really fun and easy. Again, it's a gift item that's, not too expensive, not going to break the bank. Stick it in a stocking or, whatever, birthday gift, whatever.
Well, I just wanted to take a moment to particularly thank Colin for coming up with the idea of sharing some activities that help children become citizens and of the planet, of our communities, and really help to flesh out the mindset of what it is that we as vision therapy doctors and therapists are looking to facilitate. And I really respect and admire how you bring these things together, and also that you facilitate that community sense so well with what you've created in iHeart VT. This was your brainchild, and that it's continued to go on. So I just have a tremendous amount of appreciation for what you do, Colin, and thank you for tagging me to play with you on a Sunday. But I wanted to make sure you knew it's a wonderful thing that I see you doing, and seeing it mirrored through how you're raising Crosby is lovely.
Oh, thank you very, very much. You've been a fun partner here. And we need to do some WeSee time at the KISS meeting.
Okay, I'll bring it.
I have it, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Consider it brought. Did anybody have any questions or comments?
Favorites you want to share while we're still on record that we may not have come across? Well, if that's a no, then we'll just thank you very much for spending some time with us on a Sunday afternoon, or evening, as it were, Ramon. And we hope that you all enjoy your holiday season and the children that are in your lives.
Thank you all very much. See you again
Well,
soon.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you,
Thank you.
Samantha.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.